ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Breakfast Bankroll for Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. Locals, Cape Cod, Boston, nice, huge thunderstorm this morning. My pup won't leave my feet right now, still shaking, but all is well. And hopefully everyone survived and advanced. It's that time of week where we get to sit down with the local legend, content king of DraftKings, Mr. Julian Edlow. But first, a shout out to our proud partnership with WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It's free. I promise you, we will take care of the rest. Travis, Zach, Amber, Holly, Mindy, Mandy, Jay Berry, all that community is growing leaps and bounds day by day. You want to jump on board now. A year from now, you're going to say, damn, Jeff, you were right. I should have been on board a year ago. And if you're looking to join the team, make a little flash cash. Send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. So without further ado, the one and only Mr. Julian Edlow.
How we doing, Jeff?
We're doing great. How about yourself?
Can't complain.
Let me see. Today is Thursday. So Tuesday, Section 316, me and my good friend, Kevin Goodrich. Game one, expectations. I think this matchup is kind of, I saw some minus 1200s, 1300s. It closed at minus 900 for the series. A lot of disrespect. I think we know what we expect the outcome to be. But Jules, it's the Pacers. Roll the ball out. First one to 120 wins. Each team's going to get whatever shot they want. Thoughts before opening tip-off and thoughts on what you saw in game one?
There was a lot of phases of that game, if you will. Dominant stretches by both teams, a lot of back and forth. Celtics got lucky to win game one, so I'm curious to see. I think game two is the most fascinating or most unique Celtics playoff handicap over the last, at least this and last postseason. Just because they've never really come off a game like that. Like, they finally got the crunch time win that people have been wanting them to get, but they did it in a fashion that was so out of control that people still almost aren't satisfied in a way, because Indiana was so bad in turning the ball over and giving it up, because Jaylen Brown hit such a, we'll just say, fortunate shot. It almost wasn't convincing enough that the Celtics actually took a game in crunch time. So for game two, what I think it sets up, there's a couple ways to look at it. Either the Celtics won game one and this is their flat spot, which happened in the first round. They lost by double digits to Miami in game two. Happened in the second round. They lost by double digits to Cleveland in game two on their home floors. But you go back to last year, lost both the first home games to Miami, came away with a split in the first 2 games to Philly. Last time the Celtics were up 2-0 on a home series was the Hawks in the first round. And they wound up losing game 5 at home rather than one of the first 2. And it goes back to even the year they went to the finals. The Bucks series split at home. It's just kind of what they do. So there's that narrative. Then there's the other narrative that they know that this is what's happened at home. The Pacers should have won that game. Maybe it's a flat spot for them with kind of a double hangover from you won in Indy in an elimination game in game 6 on Friday night. You won at MSG in a game 7 on Sunday afternoon. Then you came to Boston, had an overtime game that you should have won in game 1. Is this all kind of all going to catch up to them in a game 2 where the Celtics are looking to break out? They should have lost game 1. Now this is and they didn't. And this is the dominant game they have at home because they usually have one dominant game and one game that went the way game 1 went. So I think there's 2 narratives that you can kind of look each way on this. I'm playing them first half team total the way I always play them. I think there's a lot of pace in this game. Indy can't match up with them well. I think they're going to come out and score the way that they usually have. 64 was what they had in the first half of game 1. 2 regular season games that Indy was in Boston, 75 and 81 with the Celtics first half totals. So in terms of side total, whatever, I'm taking the first half team total over and then playing some player props.
You know, it was funny because, as you said, the Pacers, it wasn't even a tough, gritty game. The mass unit of the Knicks on Sunday, they're just the Band-Aids, the tourniquets, there just wasn't enough there. Then Brunson breaks and fractures his hand. The rest was history there. So one day off to get to Boston. Celtics come out 12-0, timeout Rick Carlisle, and we're like, all right, this is that blowout game. Hats off to the Pacers. Hats off to Carlisle. As you said, the 2 turnovers to end regulation. And then Carlisle, without coming out and saying, hey, yeah, we told them to foul, but would have been potentially a 4-point play. But if you foul them, he most likely is not making the shot. And we know Jaylen Brown's struggles at the free throw line. But then even in overtime, when the Celtics were struggling early, Pacers up, and then Halliburton dribbles it off his leg right around half court, and then the rest was history there. I like where your eyes are, obviously. I'm looking at this matchup, and the whole time in my head, Julian, as I was watching this game, I'm thinking the T-Wolves. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm looking at the Celtics with no rim protection. I'm looking at a Cat, a Gobert, Naz. And I'm not saying that, Dallas is a pushover either. You got to play who you got to play, but this is almost like you can get whatever you want here, Julian. And I said, I'm worried. I'm worried that, 5-6 game series. And then if it is the Wolves, it's tough to now flip that switch, and first one to 108 wins the game.
I mean, sure, but it's supposed to be tough to win a championship. And you could argue the Celtics have had the least resistance that we've seen in a while. So I thought Denver, Denver didn't have the toughest run last year, but this would be similar. So, and Denver lost 4 postseason games. The Celtics have lost 2. You're going to have to face some adversity at some point, face a tough matchup. And whether it's finding a way to deal with the size of Minnesota, which is why it's crucial to get Kristaps Porzingis back by June 6th, or defending Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, one way or the other, you're going to have to step up to a challenge and do things a little bit differently in the finals. I've said all along, whoever wins the West, whether it's Denver or not, now it's not, is going to be equipped to have the potential to beat the Celtics because they're going to be playing that well. So, and the Celtics have the pieces. Once you get Porzingis back, you can't really complain. You got Porzingis and Al Horford. Tatum can step up and play big. He can easily match up with a guy like Karl Anthony Towns or Naz Reid. And on the flip side, if you play Kyrie and Luka Doncic, your starting backcourt both made second team all defense, Drew Holiday and Derek White. You're arguably as well equipped as anyone to take them on. So it goes both ways. Whoever wins the West is going to have to step up to the challenge of facing the Celtics. Celtics are going to have to step it up a notch too.
I got the perfect gift. I'd say about 7 weeks now ago, at least 7 weeks, we gave out the Mavericks 13-1, Jules, to win the West. And I was just sitting there, Minnesota minus 170. I couldn't do anything game one. Well, now you get Dallas to come in and steal game one. You can go out there and grab some Minnesota's plus 145. I've seen it as high as 150 last night. The gift that keeps giving, I can go dabble in a 5-unit play now on Minnesota, and I got them now plus 7.5 units, or I now will then, if they lose and Dallas wins, I would get 8 units. So I think it's going to be a 6-7 game series. I think that it's going to be a war. Excited to get that 7.5, 8 units here, but we'll think about it. We got a day to do it. What'd your eye see last night out west?
Yeah, I liked Minnesota coming into the series, but I like both teams a lot. And I've been betting Dallas a lot over the last couple months, more and more. Unfortunately, I don't have a future on them, which I'm kind of kicking myself over with how open the West has been this year. But I like both teams a lot. I think Dallas is going to be a problem. We just saw Minnesota knock off an experienced team, so we kind of forget that they're not experienced. And last night, I think we kind of saw how young and inexperienced Minnesota is in this type of situation. And Luka, although he hasn't been to the finals or anything, he's played in conference finals. He looked great. Kyrie got him going early. Luka finished it off. Like that, they're going to be tough to deal with. So I don't know. I don't want to have too much recency bias, but watching last night, it looks like Dallas should, Dallas in 6 seems reasonable. I'm hoping Minnesota bounces back in game 2. Number 1, I'll probably bet them first half or something like that to come out pretty strong. But I hope they do win the game so that I can maybe get a decent price on Dallas in the series, because I am leaning that way unless something seriously changes tomorrow night. But the Wolves are really good. I like what I'm seeing from the Mavericks, though, and I have all postseason. I've liked both of these teams a lot.
We haven't talked since the shocker. Denver up 3-2 after down 2-0, losing the 2 home games. Go into Minnesota for game 6 and basically pulled the plug at halftime. That game 7. Third quarter, Denver up by 20, as we're all speculating now. Celtics, Denver, buckle up. I know we got to get through Dallas, of course. The switch that was turned on, I don't know what position you had in that game 7. I was in shock. It was just like, holy shit. What was your eyes? What were you thinking when you saw that third and fourth quarter in the show that Minnesota put on in game 7?
Yeah, game 7 was the first time I bet Denver all series. I bet Minnesota in games 1, 3, and 6 and went 2-1 on those, and bet Minnesota plus a game and a half entering the series. So just win the series or go 7. And that obviously cashed by going 7. It was a roller coaster. We haven't seen a series like that in forever. They go up 2-0 on the road. DraftKings opened up Minnesota plus a game and a half, minus 110. It was then minus 7,000 after 2 games, and it almost lost. I bet Denver in game 7, up 20 in the third quarter. I thought it was all set. Here goes Denver. And if you told me before the game Murray and Jokic would combine for 70 and Anthony Edwards would have 16 points, I probably would have quadrupled down on my Denver play. So weird game, weird series. really tough to explain. I guess if it highlights anything, it highlights that when Minnesota does have it on defense, they can rip off any kind of run. A lot like the Celtics of 2 years ago. They did it like game 1 of the finals in Golden State, down double digits in the fourth quarter and won the game. It was a little bit reminiscent of that.
It was just mind-blowing and kind of scary. Like, we know the face of the NBA and the West is changing before our eyes. OKC, Minnesota, the youth, you still got like the Pelicans with the Zion. There's a lot of youth in the West. And just to see a performance like that before our eyes on the big stage, Game 7, defending champs, 3-time MVP on their home court. It was scary for the eyes to see. And as you said, recency bias. And I'm just a numbers guy. You know that. And my numbers were saying the Celtics aren't winning this championship. Everything was swayed. It looked like the Minnesota side or even the Dallas side. It just said, I have a hard time swallowing this, Julian. How a team that can be minus 1,300, minus 1,200, close at minus 900, in the Eastern Conference Finals, only be minus 150 to win the NBA championship. Either those two teams out West are getting a ton of respect, or the Vegas books are now telling us, well, Denver's not there, and any one of the three can win.
Yeah, I do think you're onto something with the mispricing. I haven't really been betting the Celtics much to win it all up until a couple of days ago. I had been piling on the East all season just because I thought that's going to be a much easier bet to win, despite giving away, a much larger payout. I have a couple of tickets on them to win it all. But just from a pricing standpoint, I did, before both conference finals starts, take some Boston minus 150 just because I really don't think they're going to lose to Indiana. I'll be shocked if that happens. And then you've got them minus 150 in the finals. And they're telling us, it's going to be what, 230, 240 against the Wolves and steeper against Dallas. So it still seems like, what is it now on DraftKings? 175, 180. Let me see here. 165 on the Celtics on DraftKings to win it all. I'm not even giving it out as a winner. I hope it's a winner. I think it's a winner. But you should probably bet that. And if you want to hedge in the finals, you can hedge for sure.
Yeah, it's just not adding up. It just like, we were talking not too long ago, the Celtics are going to be around minus 220, 230 against Denver. And now you got Minnesota and Dallas, and the Celtics number keeps going down, down, and down. And they were already ready to anoint Ant. Ant was 3-1 to win the MVP. Luka 6-1. This was before both series started that we gave out on ECSI to get ahead of this. You could have got some Cat at, I think it was 14-1, but Kyrie was like 35-1. There was some crazy numbers out there, not including the Celtics. Obviously, Tatum was plus 115 before the two series started.
Yeah, I don't dabble as much in the MVPs. I just bet the teams. The main value, like the handicap on it, is like either you're getting it by taking the team's best player, you're trying to get a discount on a series. Mm-hmm. You could do with Tatum to try and get a big discount in the East, or you're throwing a dart on a Derek White or a Drew Holiday and trying to get a big payout. It's not a market. It's a great market to have available. And I think DraftKings was the first ever to post it 2 years ago when they started this. But I just don't want to get too cute with it, I guess, is the answer. Like, I don't want to start trying to bet awards over teams and getting the team right and the award wrong. So it's got to be a small portion. Like, if you like the Celtics to win the East, don't just go all in on Tatum to win the award and say it's going to be this great discount, because I think Tatum should win it, but it's not a sure thing. And then these darts, like, I know it was a big deal last year Caleb Martin, should he get it for the Heat. Voting finished 5-4, Jimmy Butler in favor of Martin, which I know a lot of people were mad about. They wanted Martin at those huge plus price tags to win it. I thought it was easily Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was setting up a lot of those opportunities. People disagree with that, but it just still goes to show, like, even if you get that type of performance from one of these dart throws, it's still usually going to go to the best player in the eyes of the voters. So it just takes away some of that value in it to me.
Shout out to Mr. Sailor, says good morning to both of us. And you're right. You know, we've had great success a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl before the tournament started. Jalen Hurts at 6-1 MVP, Patrick Mahomes 4-1 MVP. They meet in the Super Bowl, and it was like fish in a barrel. We've had some other hits like that. So as the Celtics, again, the Celtics minus 150 versus Tatum plus 115. Jaylen Brown was 8-1, and of course, Derek White was 22-1. Go back a handful of years ago, right, where you thought, oh, it's guaranteed. If Golden State wins, it's going to be Steph Curry. Well, it took him the third time to get there. Iggy stole the show a few years back and shocked the world. Drew Holiday 2 nights ago was off the charts. You play like that in an NBA Finals, I don't care what Tatum or Brown do. He was going to win that. So I agree with you. Spot on as usual there, Jules. Let's head on over to Foxborough. The kids are out there hearing all kinds of things. And this is the vomiting stage for me in football, because you got all these guys, big stages, big platforms, and then they become – the experts and, the hitches, this, that, the other thing. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Any Patriot good stuff you got, what your eyes are seeing or hearing?
Not really. I don't have much of a take on them. I think they're going to be bad this year, and they're going to be picking high again. Evident by their 4.5 win total. Evident by the schedule coming out. DraftKings Sportsbook posting a number on every single NFL game this season. And the Patriots are underdogs 17 times in 17 games. Shortest number is week 13, 2-point home dogs to the Colts. This isn't going to be a good team. Not much to discuss. Honestly, they got a lot of positions to fill. I would not play Drake May right away, or maybe even at all this season, depending on how things are going internally. I don't know those things, but I don't have much to say about the Patriots. They'll probably be a good fade a lot this year. They were a trendy underdog a lot over these last couple of years with Belichick when they weren't very good and failed to cover. So now with Mayo probably less prepared, I would argue, they're probably going to be in a worse position.
And going through that schedule is kind of comical. If they don't find a way to win week 2 at home against Seattle, there'll be a short dog there. I think it's probably 6 weeks later when the Texans come in. I mean, there's some sketchy spots there, and they decided to pass on that early bye. And what is it, week 13 or 14, where they have their first bye? So I almost think it's a year. Obviously, we're chalking up as growth, but it's like a dress rehearsal where, next man up. I mean, when you're going 3+ months without a bye with a young team that they have, I'm on with you. Do not wheel out Drake May and just get him crushed early here, Jules.
Yeah, there's no reason to. An offensive line has been – and all the positions he needs are the issue. The defense is okay. He needs pass catchers. He needs guys to block for him. They don't have that.
College football. I mean, there's so much on DK Sportsbook. I mean, as you said, the NFL schedule's out. You get every game there. Shout out to Derek Stevens, Jeffrey Benson, Mike Palm, Mr. Metcalf, as they announced their Circa contest today. $16 million guaranteed, 10-1, 6 in another. I thought I'd give them a quick plug there. But as it gets to your website, sometimes I say the kid in a candy store. Is it the NFL with all the stuff you get up there? Is it some college football that's catching your eye? Or, as I'm hearing a lot, the NBA draft is coming soon, and sooner, and it's not a good draft. There's not a lot of star power there. Have your eyes even dabbled anywhere down that road?
No, I probably won't get started in NBA draft for a while, and there's not many markets available. Just LeBron James Jr. and the number one pick are essentially the markets available. Only thing I've done, I took a small, very small piece of Stephon Castle to go number one at 50-1. UConn guy, just because we've seen more of him. He translates well to the NBA, and we don't know what any of these international guys are. So if Atlanta or somebody trades for the pick, decides, Castle's the best wing in this draft, we're going to stay away from the international guys, I think there's a chance at 50-1. So that was a little, scratch ticket that I took, if that interests any of you. But I have a feeling this isn't going to be a very heavily bet draft for me, and stuff's coming on the board later and later just because these markets are so beatable with early information. That's just the way books have to do it now. So yeah, I'm looking more. I'm still all NBA right now, a little bit of WNBA, a little bit of MLB, but starting to shift a little bit of attention, I guess, to some football and some college football.
I can't lie. I think it was on Monday or earlier this week. I did have thanks to YouTube, I did have split screen. I did have a Caitlin Clark on. I was watching the WNBA game. I think it was against Connecticut. She's I guess there's the far left side and the far right side, and there's some people just crucifying her right now, and she has already made the league millions upon millions of dollars just by her presence. Have you had any early success so far in the WNBA, Jules?
Started off doing pretty well. Had an 0-3 day that, when you're not betting much volume, set me back a decent amount. I've been betting a lot of player props more than sides and totals. So it really comes down to how my day is looking work wise, NBA wise. Like MLB and WNBA are kind of leftovers for me. When I have the time, I'll address them. So once NBA is done, once we get through June, WNBA and MLB will probably be a little bit more prominent for me, but I don't want to push either of those because those aren't my strengths, I wouldn't say.
Well, listen, the scroller's been going the whole time. We got Celtics tonight. We got Game 1, Dallas and the Oilers. I want you to give a reason why we want everyone in Massachusetts to download this app, and of course across the 37, 38 states, 25, 26 where you're available. Any props, promos, anything in the Julian Edlow bag of tricks?
Well, the NBA playoff boost, if you're speaking about people that don't have the app yet, or bonus, I should say. If you don't have the app, sign up. Get a no sweat bet up to $1,500. So if you don't have DraftKings, sign up, bet $1,500. If you lose, you're getting it back. So that's a pretty good reason right there with the NBA playoff bonus bet. But yeah, we got the no sweat same game parlay for tonight going on in the NBA. Same for the WNBA, no sweat bet in general. Make sure you opt in to all these, by the way. Let's see. There's also, I guess we're having a Memorial Day sale. So if you actually like any of the DraftKings gear, now is the time to get it discounted.
All right. Go. The scroller's been going the whole time. They can obviously find you on X at Julian Edlow. They can find all your work, of course, on DraftKings, DK Sportsbook, The Sweat. But I always wrap it up here, Jules, with you get the final say here where they can find all your work. And, of course, catch you on the weekend live on TV.
Yeah, I mean, everything I put out, you got it right there on the Twitter handle at Julian Edlow. And then the weekend show, The Sweat, It's on DraftKings Network. It's on VSiN. It's on, we tweeted out, it's on Samsung TV, many places, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays. And we will have shows on the holiday weekend.
Jules, thank you so much. Go enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Have a great time at the Celtics tonight, and we'll catch up next Thursday.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
Take care, Jules. Let me change this here, guys. My producing skills here. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Somewhere down here. I'll go here. Shout out to Julian Edlow at Julian Edlow at DKSportsBook at DraftKings. Heading to the Garden, right where I am right now. Game 2, Boston and the Pacers. I think the Celtics are around 9-point favorites. Over, probably around 224 right now. So we'll see there. Around 4:35 o'clock, the closing bell. Riley Magnuson and myself will get you ready to get to the window. We'll talk NHL, we'll talk NBA, we'll talk some MLB. A lot of afternoon games, so it'll be a shorter show there. I want to give some shout-outs, of course, to Russell Saylor, Marty Lowe, everyone else that was watching. Of course, the Wager Wire team and community. If you're new to our channel, just head on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe, it's free. And just turn on those notifications so you never miss a show, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. And let me just get over here. And, of course, there is Mr. Saylor there. So, again, Russell, Marty, and the rest of the crew here. A lot going on. It's Memorial Day weekend, kind of the start of summer here. After the thunderstorm, hopefully that's it for the day. Still dark and cloudy here on Cape Cod, but that's okay. We're ready for the weekend. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, and the one and only Julian Edlow at Julian Edlow at DK Sportsbooks, at DraftKings, at The Sweat, at VSiN Live, a million places. We wish everyone a blessed morning. Have a great, great day, and we'll see you around 4:35 o'clock for the closing bell. Thank you.